Welcome everybody, Furo here, and today we'll have a look at another interesting Shadowverse deck. Before we are starting, I need to give you the usual legal disclaimer that this video is sponsored by Cygames, and if you're interested in trying out Shadowverse, you will find download links to the Steam, iOS and Android version of the game in the description below this video, so check those out. And now let's begin our deck overview. You might have already noticed it, we are playing another SWORDCRAFT deck. I'm finally at double 8, so I thought it might be a good timing to play some more unusual decks. Additionally, a few of you hinted that I should try out Frog SWORDCRAFT, and that is exactly what we are doing today. A fair warning before diving deeper into the deck, the FrogCraft deck is not the best deck to play competitive on the ladder. You're not seeing that many of those decks anyway, and the reason for that is of course the overall negative win rate. It's more like a fun deck, but on the other hand excellent to crush, for example, Dragoncraft, because the Dragon class is not really able to compete with an early Frog until they are playing Bahamut in the late game. Contrary to this, Heavencraft will just easily rip you apart, with every other matchup falling in between those two. Alright, so what is the deck all about and why do we call it FrogCraft? Well, kinda simple. The star and the absolute key card of the deck is the Vagabond Frog. Super small 3 play point unit with 1 attack and 2 defense, who is totally not looking scary, right? Hold on a second, because the Frog is also getting ambush at the end of each of your turns. That means you can attack with him, and then he's going into ambush, which leads to a non-targetable follower on the board, who is very hard to handle for most classes. Any class that has some board clear in the decks, or playing more aggressive than yourself and therefore can raise you down in damage, is killing your plan, of course. That's normally the reason why the win rate isn't the highest. The unique playing style is still getting me every time. With the Frog at the key for victory, your main priority is to find him early and always play him on turn 3. To achieve this goal you have multiple tools prior to turn 3. First of all, the Mentor's Teaching, then we have the Altered Fate, and we have the Conscription. The main search card in this trio is the Conscription, which will put a random officer card from your deck into your hand. And what a coincidence, as you can see here in the deck, the Frog is the only officer in our deck, so you're guaranteed to get him and play the Frog then easy on curve. Small hint on the front lines, a small amulet here for 1. Right now you're only seeing 1 in the deck, but if you have 3, totally go for 3. The card is really good in this deck and I'm just missing the vials right now to buy more cards of that. So if you have it, play 3 of those. The perfect curve would then be to play front lines on turn 1, Conscription on turn 2 into a Frog on turn 3. Going forward you will then use your various buff cards like the Palace Fencer, the Forge Weaponry or the White General to buff the stats on the Frog and go for the face every turn. If your opponent is blocking your way with some wards, you can use the Dance of Death or the Cyclone Blade or the Whole Soul Swing to clear your path. In the worst case that your opponent isn't down prior to turn 9, your Albert Levin Saber should be good enough to finish for a victory. And that's basically everything you need to know for now for the deck. If there are still questions left, just hit me up in the comment section. We're now going for a few games on the ladder. I really hope that I can get some decent matchup to show you the full power and not concede too often. Am I right? So here we go, let's go on the ladder. So guys, first matchup is SWORDCRAFT versus SWORDCRAFT. Unfortunately, our opponent is most likely not playing the same deck as we do. That means he's going kinda aggressive in general. Conscription is good here. Not sure. We are just dropping the other 2 cards and we're getting a Palace Fencer and a Cyclone Blade. If our opponent is going too fast, then what I told you earlier, going very hard for us. There's a Mentor's Teaching, which we cannot play here. You need 1 unit on the board. So Katana unsheated, that's Storm unit, he's going for the face, of course. We are going for the Conscription. Getting the Frog then for turn 3. We're getting another Conscription. Interesting, so it would give us another Frog if we need that later. For now it's not looking like it. He's just going for the face here with all his units, most likely. With the mate leader, he's probably getting the Albert. So then either dropping that on turn 5 or turn 9. And that's a huge problem because the Albert, if he's getting enhanced and he still then has some evolve points, he can push 10 damage in the face, which is kinda dangerous. Grimnir War Cyclone, pretty bad right now because our Frog is too small. So unfortunately he would just die to this little guy. We don't like that too much. So we need to change a bit our strategy. What we can do would be just go for the Keen Enchantment and the Palace Fencer, also buffing the Vagabond Frog. Then we are using the Cyclone Blade next turn and killing everything on the board. Sounds like a decent plan. So the Frog is now at 4-2. We are not attacking the Grimnir, of course. Want to keep the Frog alive, then we can play the Cyclone Blade. We're dealing 6 damage with the Frog to everything on the board, besides the Frog. And there's another Grimnir War Cyclone. Although that's definitely happening. Let's see if he's just going for the face here or if he's killing our small Fencer. He is just going for the face. That means we're down to 10, which also means if he's playing Albert on 9, if we are still living that long, he's just killing everything. So we're now evolving the Frog, of course. And we're using the Cyclone Blade here, which is, as I said earlier, killing everything. Even our own unit. So keep that in mind, you're losing the 2-1 here as well. 6 in the face, which is a lot. The Frog is of course going back into ambush at the end of our turn. With the Keen Enchantment and the Mantle's Teaching, we have more damage to push. That would be another 3. There's already the Albert. So he's just going for that. Means another 5 in the face. And if he has another Albert in his hand, he's winning next turn. We get an Altered Fate. That's not good right now. Seriously not good. Right now it looks like we need to kill the Albert with our Frog. And definitely don't like that. We're getting a White General, Forge Weaponry. And with the Forge Weaponry we can at least save our Frog here. But again, if he's getting another Albert here, he's winning because he still has 1 evolve point. And we can then of course not kill him next turn because he's at 14. 6 cards right now in his hand. Tsubaki. Tsubaki is also an ambush, so Cyclone Blade is really good. Gonna do that here. Killing the Tsubaki. Pushing another 8 in our opponent's face, so he's down to 6. We have a decent chance to win here. There was no Albert in his hand last turn, otherwise he would have played that. So that means if he has no Albert this turn, might be good enough. We are still at 5. The Guard Simone would be good enough if we were not having another White General, which is a 5-5. When we evolve, we still have 1 evolve point, buffing the Frog. So that's the first victory already. And there's a conceit. So we're winning the first game against SWORDCRAFT. I was really lucky that he was not getting another Albert there in the situation. So that's a victory. We are getting 105 points and slowly crawling. Game 2 brings us a Dragoncraft deck, and as I said earlier, Dragoncraft is a very good matchup. So we should in general have a very high win rate here. Definitely keeping the Conscription, and because the other two are also 2 playpoint cards, we are not using those for now. Conscription is being played on turn 2, then on 3 is the Frog coming. Get a Mentor's Teaching and another Conscription. I'm not sure if we need a second Conscription here. And another Mentor's Teaching. No. No. Unexpected, it is our turn now, so we're just going for the Conscription. Getting the Frog here. Front lines would have been better on turn 1, of course, instead of the Mentor's Teaching. But you can't change that. No Dragon Oracle for our opponent, which is pretty good. So the Vagabond Frog is now coming. And we can drop the front lines. We can just play double Mentor's Teaching here. On the... we could also play the White General. Guess that will also be not too bad. He can evolve next turn. Now let's go for the front lines. That is buffing more at the moment. Also using the Mentor's Teaching, we're drawing another card. Soul Spring, we're using another Mentor's Teaching. So 3 in the face, getting a second Frog, which we are probably have no need for. With the front lines here, the Frog is now getting buffed. We will evolve the Frog next turn. And maybe play the Dance of Death if he's going for the Rahab, and he's going for that. Also evolving, so this one is getting a bit bigger because he's afraid that we are just running over him. But with the Dance of Death we are still doing that, so he's also getting 2 points of damage here. Then the Frog is getting evolved. That's a 4-4 right now. Another 4 in our opponent's face. and is of course getting buffed again by the front lines. What we really want to see here would be a Cyclone Blade, because if he's dropping another Rahab, for example, then of course right now we have a few problems with that. Luckily that's only Draconic Favor, so he's healing back more, getting another White General. Yeah, but I would say we're not going for the White General here, because then he has a target, for example, for the Breath of the Salamander. If we just drop Vagabond Frogs, he has no target, we cannot use those. Let's just drop that here. Forge Weaponry is buffing our Frog, so that's a 7-6. He's already down to 7. The front lines is buffing. That was a buff on the left Frog. He has too many cards in hand, so overdrawing. And it's not looking good for him. And there's a concede. That was kind of fast, so second game, second victory. Pretty good.